The MG Show. What real independent journalism looks like.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Oh, boy. You.
Wow. Welcome to the new MG Show studio. Shady, get on in here. Oh, my God. I can't believe we're live together today.
Today we are live together. We have made it into the new studio, everyone. Welcome to MG Show Studios.
Wow. How do we look, guys? I got to go look. We got to go look. I got to go look.
Now you already got to check. You only got 3 seconds on the air, and now you already got to go look. Everyone, welcome to. Now I'm listening to yourself as well.
Oh, that's really good. Go ahead and put Shady full screen and then me full screen so you can see that we're in the same studio now.
Yeah, let's do a flashback.
Flashback
one to the other. Wow. How does that look, guys?
I think it looks good. So what
Fake
we're trying
news.
So what we're trying to do is, just actually, just kind of, streamline the show a little bit, be a little more in sync. I did not like my background. It's years old. Like, what is 7, 8 years old? We want to redo the beginning intro as well. We want to just kind of, show you guys that, we've been doing this for a long time and, we're still being attacked by people. It's really weird. And there must be some reason for that. Maybe like we're over the target quite a bit. Press 17 if you think we're over the target. I remember Alex Kaplan from Media Matters used to hate when I said press 17 because that references the letter Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because we covered Q, guys. Q happened, okay? And all these people wanting to tell you that Q didn't happen and the QAnon people that were infiltrating our movement made it look like complete BS. And yes, it looks crazy from that perspective. Let me just tell you right now, I agree with that this movement has been infiltrated, okay? Then you've got people that we know and followed Q before too, okay? And now they're like all against Q, talking in Q codes. There's no codes. Read the drops. In fact, we've got a pesky Q proof today, Shady, in regards to Les Wexner. Q posted about that, okay? That happened. Now Les Wexner is going to be in front of a committee, guys, to testify. Guys, stop it, okay? We were right. Oh, I thought we took out our background, the green. Oh, wow. Yeti? We'll have to talk about that because I thought we were going to be all the way full screen, no background. But we'll have to figure that out. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that we moved it all the way out, but that's okay. I mean,
I thought we did.
We can work it with that.
But yeah. Because I think for these, shorts and stuff, it'll make us look a little bit better because, I have to zoom in so far when it's in this background. You know what I mean?
It's almost seems like it's too zoomed in on you right now, even. So a couple little things that we're working on.
Yeah.
And, but what you're saying, Jeff, the point of what we're talking about here is that I guarantee you, and you can argue, you can maybe say if you think that I'm wrong about this, but how many of you guys out there, let's just take a little quick poll. You can be honest. It's fine. Let's see. How do we do this? Let's go. Just a Y and an N. You did or you didn't know who Les Wexner was before you read it in a Q drop.
Right.
Yes or no? You did know who almost no one knew who this guy was. I personally knew who he was. I understood a lot of these weird connections before, just simply from reading stuff that a lot of people don't read. But the reality of the situation is, if not for Q, no one would even know who Les Wexner is. No one know any of this stuff about Epstein at all because no one was paying attention to this guy, and he was doing a pretty good job of keeping all of the quote-unquote right-wing media, it looks like, and the left-wing media in his camp the whole time. But then once Q started to post, then everybody started talking about, it's Q is the problem, not the Epstein-Wexner relationship that Q exposed. That's not anything that's productive to talk about.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that Q's the problem.
I'm just getting really tired of, everybody trying to include and disparage something that actually helped President Donald J. Trump. Most of the people that were really following Q love Donald Trump. So why would somebody attack somebody? I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, right? I loved Donald Trump. And the reason why I voted for Donald Trump is that speech that Q posts over and over and over. Because I was like, oh my God, he was at Hillary's wedding. There were some weird things, but then you realize he's a businessman and you got to play both sides of the coin, right? To get, his properties done. I got to, give a little money to Hillary Clinton. I got to give a little money to a Republican, a Democrat. And then, and when he said, I'm like, oh my God, I think those things, right? With our movement, is going to take back the government for you, the people, not the military. You got to listen to Trump's own words, guys. Our military is going to be strong under our commander in chief. The military was the only way to screw you. If you guys don't realize that yet by now, it's kind of crazy. I'm just here again for how many years, Shady? 8 years, and they're still attacking us. In fact, it's people that are Roger Stone fans. Okay, go ahead.
That don't like Trump.
That don't like Trump.
So I'm sorry to report to you, but Roger Stone is not a fan of Donald Trump, even though I believe that he's got these people tricked into thinking that he is. And I don't think that the people that he has tricked into thinking that he is MAGA, quote unquote, are necessarily the problem. I think that obviously he is the problem. But the reality of it is, Jeff, you were mentioning, Donald Trump, he did donate to here. One thing we can look at is is the examples that he set in the interviews that he did a long time ago with like Barbara Walters and a number of other people, where he sat down and he said very specific things, even with, China is eating our lunch. The American worker is getting taken to the cleaners. We are up against an entity that is trying to ruin America. He stood up and spoke out against a number of the things that were wrong with the Obama administration, as well as the Bush administration, as well as the Clinton administration, very succinctly criticizing all of them kind of the same way, this corrupt thing that he was watching play out. And then within the first 6 months, we get the Doge revelations, to where we learn that there's like 15 magic money computers, quote unquote, that no matter who sends them a bill, the thing just turns on and writes a check and sends it.
Yeah.
We didn't. Do you think you would have known something like that was going on had Hillary won?
Yeah. Wow, guys. So, Roger Stone, going back to that, because I want to make a point here, guys. Okay. Our show yesterday got over 32,000 views. Okay. People are listening. And and you can like Roger Stone. That's fine. But let's look at why he's still hiding behind his tough guy tweets and his block against us. And it's time to expose the grift in MAGA movement too, because Roger Stone is lobbying for position to take over Bannon. Okay, it's obvious. They're both two simps in the same coin. You've been bad-mouthing real patriots like me, you, Shady, in the Matrix on X and and Twitter or whatever, but facts don't lie. So you're a liability to Trump and MAGA. Your feud started because the MG show called you out on your Assange WikiLeaks BS. You claimed insider knowledge on the DNC leaks. That happened. They're now trying to tell you that did not happen. They're revisionist history, Shady. But Assange himself debunked you, Roger, straight from the primary sources like Assange's interviews. Go look it up yourself. You fueled the Russia hoax against President Trump with Guccifer 2.0. Okay? Ties and phony docu-statements. Check your own words and transcripts. It was pure sabotage, in my opinion. You lobbied for Nexium, sex traffic cult in 06 and 07, I believe it was. Hooking them up to GOP bigwigs like Joe Bruno for $20K a month. Pre-crimes still stinks. The Justice.gov court docs confirm this. Read yourself. The J6 Insider. Proud Boys as your security and oath keepers. Violence rhetoric clips galore, right? You saw it. You saw the movie Storm Foretold. Did he have a possible hand in the J6 violence with the Flynn Bros? Trump fired you in 2015 as a publicity seeker, okay? Smart move on Trump. Official records show it. And then you were mad that Trump fired you, okay? Go look at your own words. But your pattern to dismiss us as nobodies and poop heads, okay? And I'll show you why he called us that, and threaten brutal consequences, call me soft and needing a bra. It's weak, bro. No follow-up, just hot air. Ongoing in 2026, I labeled you the Nexium. I showed everybody the Nexium sauce again. And your Epstein, Nexium, Epstein, Bannon, Flynn, InfoWars crew, all those ties. It's all been there. And then you ghost us, block us, because you don't want people to, have another opinion. And then you have hacks like Jacob Ingalls defend you while smearing critics. The broader truth here is MAGA infighting? No. It's exposing infiltrators like Roger Stone, General Flynn, Steve Bannon, all of these influencers, guys, InfoWars. But you know what that does? It's not it strengthens us. It aligns us with President Trump and MAGA. And I reposted a bunch of stuff, and I'll show you the post, but this is what Roger Stone said to us, Shady. This fat guy named Peterson and another guy who calls himself Shitty Groove have been bad-mouthing me. In all honesty, a couple of nobodies. Unfortunately, there will be consequences which will be swift and somewhat brutal. Shitheads like this don't know when they're out of their league. So, you have your crew attacking this show because we're out of your league, or are you out of our league, Shady?
The truth is we are getting out of their echo chamber. We are out of their league. They do not have any control over what we're doing. You see, the people that jump in line to bow and give homage to Roger Stone, 90% of the times are the people that he has some sort of compromising information on. You understand this? And so everybody knows that Roger Stone's got the goods on them, and Roger Stone has had the goods on everybody. That's the way the mafia works. If you want to sit here and tell me that that's not the way the mafia works and that's not the way that Roger Stone has been operating, that's fine. I'll hear you say it. It's not going to make it true. So if you want to pretend like that, Brandon Dilley and this whole Dilley meme team thing, they've blocked everybody out, and now they're saying that you guys, now this is what's coming from Dilley to you, special gift. You guys are worse than liberals. Okay, you're exactly like the black pilling people that are the General Flynns of the world and the Badlands medias of the world. Well, you as a Q follower, a Q reader, a person that understands Donald Trump is Q plus, because you do that, you're exactly like them.
Yeah.
Now that's the narrative that's being spread around, and they're blocking everybody out. I guess a bunch of you in the chat, you can put up there. Were you blocked by Dilley? Who's blocked by Dilley? Everybody. Because Roger Stone is puppeting Dilley, and he's telling Dilley what to do right now about staying away from the Q thing or attacking it or whatever it is. They're trying to weaken Donald Trump for the midterms. There's no stronger supporter of Donald Trump and his agenda than this show, and there's no other show that's been anywhere close to as over the target about what's getting ready to happen than we have.
Wybar City Fred says his wife is kind of hot, though. Yeah, she was. Roger Stone put him in swinging articles. He's a swinger. Okay,
That's how they met.
that's how they met. Okay. All right. So also, let's just go to this guy. This guy is Dilly Simp. Okay. FYI, if you are getting pummeled online for making bad choices and justifiably are getting roasted by people that see right through you, and your defense is Christ is king, or start talking in super secret Q codes, it's not working anymore. Mahalo.
Oh, well, say,
Look,
pummeled.
there's nothing super secret about Q. You know, when I met Donald Trump, he said, "Love what you do," when I met him the first time. Shady was there and he played Heroes at my birthday party. Donald Trump played the song Heroes. Kash Patel came on my show and Shady's show and this show saying, "I love you guys." I've got my book saying, "I love the MG show" from Kash Patel. Stop it. You are the ones that are dividing the movement. I and Shady and me, however you say it, Shady. We used to get crap about that all the time. Shady and me will continue to do what we're doing because we're right a lot, sadly, and it's because of super secret Q codes, Shady.
Well, look at what we're talking about right there. You just read it, pummeled. Okay, how am I getting pummeled? If you're too much of a sissy to like not block me because you don't want me commenting underneath your dumb post. Okay, whether you're Dilly Meme Team or Miguel California or Brenda Dilly, whichever one you are, how am I getting pummeled if you're blocking me?
Yeah,
that makes absolutely no sense. It seems like I'm winning the argument. That's the reason you're blocking me. It seems like that my information takes away the value of yours, and therefore you have to block us all out because we're really literally standing here on the cusp of realizing that what a week. 10 days into realizing that Steve Bannon and Epstein were doing pillow talk 24/7, and you're going to pretend like Roger Stone didn't make Steve Bannon who he is? How do you think he got to be Steve Bannon? And why do you think they're competing? Because Steve Bannon pivoted and started going after Roger Stone's money in his financial future, putting it on the line because Bannon's sucking in his cash.
And again, I'm going to explain this to you as well. Miguel California got cued and has bragged about it many times. Has he not?
Yes, he has. And Brenda Dilly was doing a Q show with Praying Medic for up until 2020, whenever we all got taken off the air. Yeah. They were literally doing a Q show every single day. Dilly was.
He was selling Q hats.
Okay. It's so funny, man.
And I'm just trying to show you, why are we being attacked? I love no President idea. Trump, and I'm supporting the administration. You and I are. Not these QAnon people with 17s and Qs in their name that are fake infiltrated Flynn bots.
They want you connected to InfoWars. That post right there tells you their agenda. If you can't see it, you can't see it. They're trying to say that you're exactly the same as Alex Jones. If you're paying attention to Q, there's no differentiation. So they're pretending, Dilly is pretending that he doesn't understand the Q drops that explain the difference between the Alex Jones network. Remember, Dilly blocked me originally because I was attacking Flynn. I was going, we were telling people the truth on General Flynn. That's why he originally attacked me. Now he's going after General Flynn, blocks all the Q people out, and acts like, he's the quintessential guy with the truth. Meanwhile, you cannot listen to the man talk.
So, Shady, remember when we were being attacked by all these people for many years now? They used to call it, they used to say, limited hangout. Remember that terminology? That's a CIA terminology, limited hangout. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
When did Q start posting? What, 8 years ago?
17. Yep. October of 17.
So then who got a show 8 years ago? Let's listen. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that.
Shit. Your audience eventually figures out you're full of shit. And so it's kind of like we've talked on this show. Like, I can't attract new viewers because I'm not willing to go back to kindergarten. And so, like, many of you have grown through this process with me over the last 8 years of doing this show. And so we're in year 8 and we have a limited hangout here, and we're not willing to slow down the show and do it in a way that would be appealing to newcomers because I don't have fucking time to bring you up to speed.
And who talks like that? Okay. Again, Alex Jones talks all crazy and cries on Q, and he attacked Q. This is the same stuff. You know,
oh boy,
it's crazy. Limited Hangout. 8 years ago, he started his show. Are you one of the paid influencers?
There's no doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And it's coming. Like I said yesterday, we talked about the architecture yesterday. Who is puppeting Roger Stone? Who is at the core of it? It looks to us like Roger Stone is at the core of all of it, whether it be InfoWars, whether it be Flynn Network, whether it be Dilly, whether it be any of these people, Loomer, and then he's pitting each one of them against one another. Okay, and the weird thing is they kind of got us personally, they've all got us blocked out. And so we're over here like talking to you guys. I don't know. Are we able to bring new people? Do we have new people in the audience that have been here for like less than 6 months that are able to get up to speed? We feel like we're talking to, I don't feel like there's any other human that's dumber than me. If they have information, they usually can update themselves pretty much. Even Democrats sometimes can take information they don't like and plug it into the day. Like, what do you need to get up to speed? Oh, you're not talking about Q stuff. So what's the up to speed, man? I mean, I just don't get it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me unless he's talking about his MK Ultra programming he's been laying down thick.
So yesterday we had some gentleman say, and this is somebody that was on our show, and he doesn't want to listen to us. He doesn't want to hear us. He didn't know about General McChrystal until we told about him. He argued about it with us. Remember that, Shady?
I do.
Mm-hmm. And now he said, I've had this information for years. And then he says that the same time Q dropped some email from Epstein, the same day, meaning that means that Bannon and Epstein are Q. Stop it. Why are you guys so fixated on Q? Q is great information, guys. And then everybody's wanting to know who Q is. If the intel agencies couldn't figure it out, how am I going to figure it out? How are you going to figure it out? And why does it matter?
It matters to them, and the reason they're talking about it is so they could get in the good graces of Dilly. They want to be reposted by Dilly. Don't you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be reposted by the Dilly meme team.
Yeah. So I just wanted to just clear that out. Roger Stone threatened us. Okay, because that was the thread that I did about the January 6th stuff, Shady Groove, with his possible alleged involvement. Okay, not only that, we debunked his WikiLeaks crap that is going around today, saying you did do that. We've got the DM that you've got to Assange.
Yep. Literally,
okay? It's so dumb, guys, and they will not address any of the information that we're talking about. That's why they block us, because you might have a different discernment once you actually dig and learn what we've come up with, and you make your own mind up. Shit, I don't want people to just listen to me. Here's what you need to know from the MG show. No, I want you to figure it out. I want you to Google it, and then if you can prove me wrong, send it to me. And if you do prove me wrong, I will adjust the way that I think, because new information is how we adjust our course. Right? Does that make sense, Shady?
Yes, and it was a threat. That was a threat. Roger Stone threatened us. What did he say at the end right there? We're going to find out. What did he say? You see that? I mean, this guy threatened this show and said that he was going to work to have us shut down or to stop us or whatever it was. His dumb little comment was, acting like he's got all this power. Who does that?
Yeah.
If this guy doesn't actually think that he has the power to do it, why would he say it? I don't say that to other people. Like, I don't have the power to like stop anybody from broadcasting. I don't care who you listen to. You can go listen to anybody that you want to. It's freedom. I would never say don't listen to anybody. I'm going to tell you why I don't agree with them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you not to listen to anything. I'm going to tell you to listen to everything and make up your own mind. And this guy is telling you that, our day is coming. Well, that was a number of years ago. And whenever we were talking about your operations at J6, and our day is looking pretty good from my vantage point.
Yeah. So he said, unfortunately, there will be consequences, which will be swift and somewhat brutal. That was the exact quote.
What was the date on that?
I don't know.
You don't know? That was like
2023. Right, yeah, so, when we came out again. Does Roger Stone lie? And then the Flynn thread on Manhattan Madam Stone, Manhattan Madam Flynn, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, having a hand with Charles Flynn brother in January 6th, and Roger Stone's own movie called A Storm Foretold, which he says is AI, but Grok knows better.
Yeah, we're trying like hell to teach Grok that to know better. Swift, what would you define Swift as? You find it. I thought swift would mean quickly. This has been almost 3 years now. So the swift nature of what Roger Stone can do to harm us and prevent us from talking to you isn't working.
That's right. Rev Rob, thank you. Like the average libtard, I don't have the facts, so I'm going to threaten you and call you names. Right.
Well, that's cool.
Thanks, bro. All right. So real quick, before we get into the show, let's go ahead and accept and do this one, Shady Groove. It's a pretty good one here. As we know, we want you to get this Rumble wallet because they can freeze your accounts, shut off your cards, lock you out of your own money overnight, guys. I mean, this is how banks don't protect you. They control you. That's why real financial freedom starts with ownership. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a non-custodial wallet built for people who refuse to give up control. With Rumble Wallet, you just don't buy digital currency like Bitcoin and Tether. You can own Tether Gold, real gold on the blockchain. Through Tether Gold, you get direct ownership, physically gold bars, guys. Each one fully allocated, verifiable by serial number, purity, and weight. This isn't paper gold. This is not an IOU. This is real gold without bank vaults, storage fees, or gatekeepers. Oh, gatekeepers. You can buy, sell, or move it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when the traditional gold markets are closed. And if you want, Tether Gold can be redeemed for physical gold. That's power. And when you support the creators on Rumble, your favorite creators, using the Rumble wallet, it's a peer-to-peer and outside the banking system. No permissions, no middlemen, no cancel button. This wallet is yours forever. Shady.
Wow. Thank you for that. And thank you for Rumble. And thank you for all of the subscribers. I see that everybody out there has their red castle. I would like to tip my hat to each of you. We're sitting here and we're telling you our story every day. Like, our intent is to come here and talk about the great winning of Donald Trump. But instead, we end up sitting here talking to you about all the people that think there's something wrong with us and trying to stop us from helping Donald Trump. It's just very interesting to me that I've done nothing for the last 8 years but my dead level best to inform people of the best information that they could possibly get so that we could get Donald Trump elected, keep him elected, possibly get another one or two of his administration officials elected in the future. That's what my intent is. And it really does seem like everybody from Alex Jones to Roger Stone to General Flynn and all these big people don't want me here helping Donald Trump. I'm probably just a conspiracy guy, Jeff. I'm the conspiracy guy. And so, I see everything through the lens of like somebody's out to get me. But, I don't know. Maybe it's been proven out at this point.
So, guys, I want to do something that is local to Dan Bongino and I. Okay. This is a person that was arrested in Martin County, Florida. Okay. See that person right there? And then I'm going to just go ahead and come back over here and just read it to you because it's pretty amazing, guys. This is Martin County, Florida. A woman loses consciousness during a violent, unprovoked attack. It's on the beach. The attacker is in custody. 26-year-old illegal alien from Venezuela is behind bars following a late-night attack and attempted murder of a woman walking along a Martin County beach. This is close to home. The incident happened around 11 p.m. Thursday night into early Friday morning while the victim was walking along Tiger Shore Beach. That's the one I go to, Shady. Holy no. And not anymore. And talking on the phone with a relative. According to the victim, the attacker came up from behind, struck her, pushed her into the water, and attempted to drown her. During the violent struggle, she said she eventually lost consciousness. Believing the victim was dead, the suspect grabbed her cell phone and threw it into the ocean before walking away. When the victim regained consciousness, she walked more than a mile to Stewart Beach, where she located a sheriff's deputy. For 2 days, deputies canvassed the area, reviewed camera footage, searched for the witness, and monitored the beach for potential suspect. Last night in Port St. Lucie, Florida, responding to a call involving a suicidal male contacted the Martin County Sheriff Office after the individual claimed he had murdered a woman on Martin County Beach. Martin County Sheriff's officers, detectives spoke with the man and determined that that he was the attacker. The suspect, identified as 26-year-old Saeed Alexander Hernandez Gonzalez, told officers at the beach that he saw the woman alone. He made statements indicating she made him angry, so he attacked her and drowned her. He stopped when he believed she was unalived. He then went to his vehicle, smoked marijuana, drank vodka, and left the scene. When asked if he was remorseful, Hernandez Gonzalez said he felt nothing. So Said Alexander Hernandez Gonzalez is an illegal alien from Venezuela and has been charged with attempted murder and is being held at the Martin County Jail. Immigration ICE enforcement authorities have placed an ICE detainer on him. Get him the hell out of here. What do you think, Shady?
I think that about 3 miles offshore and see if he can swim back to the coast.
Hey. Yes, ICE, deport him.
Get him out.
Yeah, get him the hell out of here. Again, that hits close to home, guys.
I'm glad that someone said that Dan was talking about that this morning. That's good. Great. That's great news. Glad to hear that.
It's because we live in the same county.
That's crazy. That's a crazy story. But the thing is, man, I mean, you guys aren't hearing what's happening. So, you have no idea what's happening here in Oregon and California with this stuff because the police aren't investigating it. They don't look into it. The press doesn't write stories about it. And people just kind of move around like it's not really going on. And the body count just increases. So the fact of the matter is, what these people have done. And it just really jumps. It really gets me irritated. That's why you see me get so animated at these people that tried to tell you Donald Trump was really the president. I'm sorry, but I see it every day. I live in Oregon. I walk past it every single day. It's not like just going out. I'm not gonna focus on it, but the degradation of society is real. Yeah. And what's happening here is not good because the authorities aren't doing police work. The attorney general isn't doing attorney general work. The judges aren't doing judge work. And the politicians are just stuffing their pockets and their faces and turning their back on society.
That's right. Breaking news, billionaire Victoria's Secret mogul Les Wexner is going to testify in House Jeffrey Epstein probe because Jeffrey Epstein was billionaire Les Wexner's financial advisor. And there's the article right there on February 18th, 2026. And oh boy, February 20th, 2 days ahead of schedule, Shady Grove, Q post in codes 3875. That post right there is from the Q aggregator that is now called QAg, and that was on my website, Shady's website. That is ours, okay? That's, you can tell by the colors. Les Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret, connect the dots. Epstein, Wexner, the story goes much deeper, darker, and now that guy is going to be testifying on the Hill, Shady.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of interesting because I like the way. Isn't that interesting the way Fox frames that? Epstein was Les Wexner's financial advisor. It looks like Les Wexner pretty much just turned over his whole operations to Jeffrey Epstein, and he was like running things. That's not a financial advisor, okay? Yeah. That's something different that they don't know how to characterize, and so they just say financial advisor. But in all reality, what it is a lot more than financial advice.
You think?
I do. Like I said, I'm the conspiracy guy.
Yeah. You think it's much deeper and darker, right?
Yes.
So let's go to that Twitter link that Q wanted us to go to right here. This is it right here. This is from Sapna. Say the Maheshwari, and this is about the Victoria's Secret has been under a microscope for its outdated marketing of the L Brands CEO's Epstein connections. More than 30 people also described entrenched culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment. And then it says the culture was presided over the current L Brands chief executive, Les Wexner, 82 years old. Okay, and recently, and that was in 2020. And recently departed Chief Marketing Officer Ed Razik, 71, who oversaw the annual fashion show, according to current and former executives, employees, contractors, models, court filings, and other documents. Employees have struggled to steer Victoria's Secret away from porny image at a meeting, but when one employee asked Mr. Wexner what he thought about the retail industry's embrace of different body types, he said, "Nobody goes to a plastic surgeon and says, 'Make me fat.'" As per two attendees, Mr. Razik was the subject of repeated complaints about inappropriate conduct. From our story, he tried to kiss models. He asked them to sit on his lap. He touched one's crotch, and ahead of the 2018 Victoria's Secret fashion show, L Brands didn't dispute any of the New York Times reporting. A statement was from its independent directors ended with, quote, We regret any instance where we did not achieve this objective and are fully committed to continuous improvement and complete accountability. These tweets just skim the surface, but there's a ton here if you want to read it, guys. But yeah, that article was cued, Shady Groove.
It was. And boy, oh boy, aren't we really talking about something a lot bigger? Aren't we talking about something a lot bigger? What is it that we're talking about? Whenever you're looking at these elites and you're watching what they're doing, what are you talking about? You're seeing all this insane rhetoric about trans, for instance. It's everywhere. Trans is everywhere. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's being perpetrated by all of these companies that we've told you are part of the Fortune 500 companies that are all part of a bloodline cult, that are all part of a monopoly, that are all manipulating your financial system and your social system. They all agree that we call them globalists. And what is Victoria's Secret, guys? What is Victoria's Secret? Do you know what Victoria's Secret is? Do you know what it is that is being perpetuated on you? They're not hiding it, okay? Victoria's Secret is that it's a man, baby.
Wow.
Crickets.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that. She was a yes, that's the Victoria's Secret. So it's all a big trans cult. That's why you say, oh, Michelle Obama and all of these different things that you see.
Larry Liberty, right. All these different things that you see, it's all a cult of the inversion. So like, as above, so below, the androgynous nature of Baphomet, right? It's all a transgender cult, and they're trying to drive you into transhumanism. That is the goal, to get you so confused, to liquefy reality to the point where you're so confused, you can't even tell what gender you are. You're willing to cut off your private parts, your children's private parts, virtue signal about it in public, and say that drag queens should be able to dance around in front of children, as so that you can share with the children Victoria's Secret. Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy, man. Really, and I think that a lot of this is why they're trying to like micro pick at these stupid little things like Pizzagate. They don't want anybody to really catch on to what's actually happening to them.
So somebody's asking, how do you know that, Shady? Victoria's Secret thing?
That is what Victoria's Secret is. Dig into it, you guys. Prove me wrong is all I can say on that one.
Prove me wrong. It was founded. So that's actually the business, but you're going to have to go back farther, right, to find out who Victoria's Secret was named after, correct?
Yeah, yes. The Victoria's Secret is like, a medieval thing, like from the 1600s, whenever the hell she was alive.
So Victoria's Secret is her scar. Victoria's Secret is that she was a man. Well, sort of. Victoria's Secret was created by a man who was tired of shopping for lingerie for his wife in women's sections of department stores, where he might be seen and judged. So he created a store, cigar lounge in feel, where men could buy pretty undies for their ladies without feeling awkward about it. Then it morphed into a women's wet dream of sex kitten get-ups. I'd provide link, but I'm mobile. Oh, my God. Oh, jeez.
So now you think about, doesn't it make sense? Now you think about Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein and geneticism. They're all about the geneticism. What are they really doing? They're all about this idea that, trans lives matter out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden we've got all these trans people that are taking all these drugs and they're shooting up the schools, being controlled by the psychologists that are being controlled by the church.
Wow. It's crazy. And, we did the research of the Lady Liberty, right? The Statue of Liberty. It is a eunuch, guys. And it's, it's crazy. Larry Liberty is basically what it is, Shady.
Coming out of this
in my one of my Paysor threads.
That was in the Paysor thread. That's literally in it, because that became relevant as we were going through some of the Q drops and the different things that were being revealed. As that's what I'm saying. These are the things that you're actually
castrated Addis, Shady.
Castrated Addis. That's correct. And all these things are the things that you're going to learn whenever you actually look at history, instead of like just going along in your life like they told you everything you need to know in school.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to the Panicans were wrong again, Shady Groove. Oh, of course.
Yes.
So now you have AOC and Newsom embarrassing America at this Munich Security Summit. Gavin Newsom even signed a deal over there, and I don't know if that's legal or not. That's a question for President Donald J. Trump. But and the feds, but just craziness, dude.
I could not believe what we were seeing. Like, I've seen people do things without being prepared before. But the stuff with AOC, especially the way that she addressed Taiwan and a couple of other things, like these people were standing there looking at her like she's in a foreign country and she's acting like she's going to run for the president of the United States. And these people are like, even these people are smarter than her.
Yeah. So they held. I want a good comment here by Liberty Warrior. Munich Security Conference, not the Munich. It's the Munich Security Conference.
Oh, okay. We're going to allow that. We can 100% allow
it.
I'll allow it. Seconded.
I love it. All right, here's Jesse Waters. Did a great job. Check it out.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
And an upside surprise here, or a downside surprise, year over year at 2.4, had been expected at 2.5%.
This is a new 8-month low for annual inflation, month over month. Prices up by 0.2%. Also a step in the right direction, also beating expectations. That's the lowest annual inflation rate for core since March of 2021.
Inflation came in cool for January, but wait a second, how could that be? 16 Nobel economists said Trump would detonate the economy. It's the opposite. Wages are up, especially for construction and manufacturing. Trump's so happy, he's house hunting.
Maybe I'll move here with our great movie star. We'll move here with our first lady. We'll move to Fort Bragg. Would you like that, darling? She loves you. It's possible.
That's a funny comment.
It's not a bad idea.
That is a funny comment.
Going to give Trump any credit.
Because we did move in there, essentially, Shady Groove. We are fighting Fort Bragg psychological operations.
We're 100% up in there every single day. Like the guy yesterday, just to say this real quick, yesterday, Jeff came in. I got open Twitter yesterday, and I looked in at 5:05 a.m. The ghost came in, and he made a goofy, scary post at me. And I was like, 3 hours later, I'm like, looking at that. I'm like, oh, wow. So you just got in the office. Well, good to see you at work. And then 10 hours later, he comes back at 5 minutes till 6 and he types another scare. I'm like, man, what am I like on the both ends of the shift here?
What are you on the clock? Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
He's on the clock. All right, back to the Dems are stuck in the dark ages, guys.
They're running for president. Knee pads flew to Germany and left his wife on stage so she can't grab the mic. We thought Gavin was going to give a big foreign policy speech. Tell us about the Newsom doctrine. Nope. He just mimicked Al Gore.
Donald Trump is doubling down on stupid. I mean, people are burning up, choking up, heating up. We have simultaneous droughts and floods. Historic wildfires. You know maybe little about California. You've seen those images of these wildfires.
Knee pads needs to read the room. Europe doesn't want to hear about windmills. That already tanked their economy. They're worried about trade, NATO, natural gas. What Newsom didn't tell these folks is that climate change didn't start the fire in the Palisades. A Biden donor did. Newsom's message, sit tight, Europe. Soon everything's going to be just fine. And you can call me daddy.
Donald Trump is temporary. He'll be gone in 3 years. California is a stable and reliable partner in this space. And it's important for folks to understand the temporary nature of this current administration in relationship to the issue of climate change.
Newsom's message was the exact opposite of AOC's. AOC said nothing's going back to normal. The world's changing fast. But she kind of got off to a rocky start.
We are in a new day and in a new time. But that does not mean that the majority of Americans are ready to walk away from a rules-based order and that we're ready to walk away from our commitment to democracy. I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, hypocrisy is vulnerability. And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around
not the rule of the jungle.
Often in the West, we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
Wow.
Paradoxicals.
After the word salad, AOC froze like a deer in headlights.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan?
This is crazy.
You know, I think that this is such a, you know, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
Finally, she found
going. It did keep going. It got so much.
Yeah.
It got so uncomfortable. I was like sitting there, like trying to say, "Oh my God, go away, go away."
It reminds me of that pageant. Remember that pageant lady?
Oh, yes, I do. Where she's like, "Oh my God, I know." So the South Carolina girl. And
Yeah.
She started. They asked her a simple question, and she started talking about. Oh, I totally remember what you're saying.
Miss Teen USA, South Carolina. Let's get it up on the screen here because this literally is AOC.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. Or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future.
I mean, she was actually more coherent than AOC. I got to give her a little bit of props here, Shady.
That's exactly where I was.
I mean,
that's funny.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah.
So
she's trying to get maps to foreign countries at least.
Well, let's talk about maps because AOC thinks that Venezuela is south of the equator.
Oh God, I saw that.
Okay.
Oh dear God, I
so
did.
So go
see
ahead
that.
and run for 2028, AOC. It's going to be fun.
She does. She thinks that. She literally she did say that, guys. She said Venezuela is south of the equator. I'm hoping that we don't need to show you guys a map. I'm hoping that everybody here is everything, everyone like such as. That was so funny. That was a perfect. You're not going to catch
she
that. She
sounded more educated than AOC. I got to give her some props, Miss South Carolina. You are now redeemed.
Yeah, we have devolved. Our world has devolved
because Miss South Carolina was total nerves. Maybe, yeah, but AOC was complete stupidity. Okay.
She's like, well, it's actually it's even worse than stupidity, Jeff, because stupidity means that you're like on the wrong side of something or you're thinking about it wrong. That does literally mean you've done some thinking about a topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like to me like the way that she was flat-footed about Taiwan, like that it's never really crossed her mind, or that she doesn't really understand any of the history or the treaties that have been signed, or the idea that Taiwan makes all of our manufacturing of our extremely complicated computer chips, and that we're currently trying to get a bunch of those made in America just in case China takes over Taiwan. She doesn't know anything.
I personally believe, therefore, shady rants are the best.
Yeah, therefore. Here too art, therefore.
Yeah,
like
that was good.
Jazz.
So good, guys. Wow. All right, so let's continue with this because AOC's Doomsday Diaries continue. Check it out.
That was so funny. Good job.
Footing. AOC says if democracy doesn't deliver for the middle class, Trump and Putin are going to go rogue.
And now I think we are moving in this direction of increased recognition that we have to have a working class centered politics if we are going to succeed, and also if we are going to stave off the scourges of authoritarianism.
AOC's solution: raise taxes on the rich and spend trillions on handouts.
Did she say discourages, or was she trying to say
the scourge? The scourge.
Okay. I thought she said discourages. Okay.
Scourge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, thank you for interpreting
I
AOC.
know folks are going to go for that, but at least that's a coherent message instead of Gavin's dumb climate stump speech. Meanwhile, back in the United States, Kamala's book tour rolled into her favorite spot, a bar.
Yeah.
I need to listen to people.
I need a drink.
Nice to meet you. How are you? Very well. How are you doing? Good. Better now. You've created a wonderful
Filming that.
Yeah, we really
At the Rookery.
think that's good optics.
I got a strawberry. I'm a strawberry milkshake.
Kamala's pub crawl isn't getting any buzz, although she is. I know what you're thinking. Democrats are running AOC, Kamala, knee pads. But there's a wild card candidate who's going to blow up the whole race. Stephen A. Smith says this, quote, I'm giving strong consideration to being on that debate stage for 2027. I've got this year coming up, 2026, to think about, to study and know the issues. Let the games begin.
He's going to blow the Dems up. But you know what? Vance, Rubio will just eat all these people alive, man. There is a plan after Trump, guys.
Well, there's also a plan to stop it. And the plan to stop it is partially engineered by Fox News. And Fox News has brought this guy on. Sean Hannity has normalized this guy. He's brought him in. He's the one. He introduced him to the Democrat Party through his show and showing to a greater audience and starting to get the support for him from in the middle. And now he'll be a regular person on Sean Hannity's show, as Sean Hannity has Stephen Smith on 10 times more than he'll have anybody on to talk about the campaign of J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or whoever it might be. They are going to continue. I just want to make the point that they're going to continue to work against us. I am now almost completely gotten rid of everything to do with it because I'm tired of Fox News constantly promoting what stupid Democrats are doing and never talking about what my amazing president is doing, which is the agenda. The agenda is not what the idiots are doing in the room that are over there at the kids' table licking their food off of the table. We're talking at the windows. We're talking at the adult table, and they don't want to talk about any adult conversations. They want to keep you dragged over there into that nonsense.
Yeah, it's kind of getting ridiculous, guys. You know, did you see that the Justice Department released this PDF right here? I'm not a robot. Yes, I'm 18 years older. But look at this, guys. This is the connections of the web. Pretty interesting. There's Mark Cuban. You know, look at this, guys. This is pretty interesting. Robert Kraft, Jared Kushner. That's interesting that Jared's on there, guys. Let me just, why can't I manipulate this? Like, oh my God, I'm going to hack it now. There we go. Acquaintances, close friends are black, right? D.A. Wallach, Laura Arnold. Pretty interesting. You know, pretty interesting to go look at this, guys. If you guys just go over there, it's in the Epstein files. It was just released the other day. But very, very interesting. And then there's more over here. Jason Karp, Dan Loeb, David Berkowitz. Just very interesting. Jonathan Soros, George Soros. Look at that.
I'd just like to encourage everybody to not shy away from this, that we are interested in things that you are finding. We are willing to talk about things that you find, and we're all digging into this together. But you're talking about a massive amount of stuff that is here to go through, and everybody kind of has been focused solely on the Steve Bannon thing, which is pretty big, but there's a lot more going on here to this.
Like, you know, the Q proof that we had the other day that didn't include Bannon. It was basically talking about Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie. It was talking about Perkins Coie, guys.
Yeah.
Epstein was also behind the spy op, and that would mean that Bannon was too, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would mean. And it's interesting, too, you know, some of the stuff that I'm not sure if we're going to talk about some of the things that you're theorizing, but around this whole thing. But it's just interesting how, you know, if you take Bannon and Guthrie, no other topic is being talked about regarding Epstein. And you've got all of this stuff connected to every single professor at Harvard, connected to every single foreign person, connected to Israel, connected to South America, connected to Central America, connected to the Philippines, connected to Japan, connected to Russia, like, and everybody's looking in these tiny little spots.
Shady, I'm gonna real quick just go over something real quick too, because it's very interesting. We were talking about it. You know, the sheriff just said all the spouses, the family and spouses specifically, okay, are all cleared in the investigation, but that did not happen with the FBI chief agent in charge, guys. That was not a joint. That was a singular statement by the guy that doesn't wear his uniform, sheriff. But Savannah Guthrie's husband is Michael Feldman. He is a partner and North American co-chairman at FGS Global, and international communications and consulting firms. They do PR, guys. His major client, he also does major client accounts, growth strategy. He has over decades of experience in politics, policy, strategic communications, including 8 years in the Clinton-Gore White House as senior advisor traveling with Al Gore. Okay. Michael Feldman has been widely nicknamed the Scrubber, okay, in conservative America First circles, referring to his alleged role in suppressing or scrubbing damaging information about the Clintons from the press and the internet during his time as a senior advisor with the Clinton-Gore White House and through his PR firm, Clover Park Group. This label highlights critiques of the establishment politics and globalist insiders protecting corrupt figures like the Clintons, undermining sovereignty and transparency. So the sheriff said, quote, let me quote it, Shady, "To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case." Okay. And don't start making any, theories or anything. But do you guys remember the Clintons testify on the 26th and 27th? And when the Epstein files were released, this happened. This happened at the same day, nearly, as the Epstein file release is the Nancy Guthrie. Is she on an island somewhere sipping Mai Tais, laughing because she calls Trump Satan, and then Guthrie, you know that QAnon, remember she attacked President Trump, guys? I'm starting to, the DNA came out a flop. We're back to square one. There's still nothing on it. And we're in day 18 or 19 right now, Shady. This is smelling weird.
Completely weird.
And we'll be right back after these beautiful boom messages.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Use promo code MGSHOW or call 1-800-873-0478. That's 1-800-873-0478.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20% and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
bigger than you can imagine. More than selling of state secrets, more than selling of U.S. security, more than selling of military tech, more than selling of CIA assets, more than selling of NSA bulk data collection programs, more than selling of uranium, more than selling of U.S. space security, more than selling of USA. Bigger, so much bigger than you can imagine. Bigger, so much bigger than you can imagine. Destroy the narrative. This is much bigger than even horses can imagine. Welcome to the awakening. Free information, power back to the people. With knowledge comes power. Bigger, so much bigger than you can imagine. Bigger, so much bigger than you can imagine. So much bigger than you can imagine. Bigger, so much bigger than you can imagine. This is bigger than any one person or entity. You are fighting for truth collectively. Will of the people, trust in yourself, the choice will always be yours. God bless you all. Where we go on, we go on. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Expand your thinking. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Trust the plan, there are a lot more good than bad. You, the people, need to remember how to play. You, the people, have the power. We strike every single day. We win every single day. Every single day they are being destroyed, literally. Stay strong. Have faith. This is bigger than anyone can imagine. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Expand your thinking. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Expand your thinking. Future proves past. Nothing is a coincidence. The map is the key, planned for years. Corruption and evil deep within. Every way, patrons, there is no escape. There are no deals, present at highest level. It's bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Expand thinking. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Bigger, bigger than you can possibly imagine. Expand thinking. Bigger, bigger, bigger than you can possibly
Bigger than you can imagine. I think it fits pretty good with today's show because that's what we're talking about. Look, you know, people that are disparaged. That's why, you know, I'm really thankful for Scottish Anon to scroll the cue drops in his songs. because it's you can pause them, guys. If you want to read them, pause them, or just go to qagg.news to read them yourself. But I think it's good to make songs on these Q posts, like I've done as well with MG Music. Mikey Mariano's done it as well. A lot of Patriots are doing it. Lydia, I mean, you name it. C. Page has done some, but you guys, it's a new way of reaching people, and it's a new way to keep these posts in front of your eyes, because a lot of people are just acting like QAnon, right? And we know that the infiltrators are there, but you need to read them yourself and make your own mind up. If people are saying and attacking you because you followed Q for this many years after Q, maybe Q will drop again. But isn't it interesting that we're still being attacked for covering this subject? It's baffling me.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much, Jeff. And yes, it's very, very baffling, actually. And also, I'd like to just point out that I have a little bit of breaking news from Kash Patel's visit to Dan Bongino this morning, talking about that we found where the Antifa funding is 100%. So all of these different things that's going on. Remember, the Antifa funding is no different than the Proud Boys funding. The Antifa funding is no different than the Patrick Byrne funding. The Antifa funding is no different than all of these people that have been taking this money, and then they take the money and they go out and they pretend like they're generating a news source, and they use the money to pay the person to make it look like a news source. But in all reality, it doesn't actually make anything. It's just a big front so that they can shove more propaganda down your throat. In other words, by spinning whatever it is that's currently going on into what making you think that what it is isn't what you think it is. It's what they want you to think it is, which is exactly what we're trying to break here. Whenever we say that the MG show is where psyops go to die, we want you to bring them here to kill them. Okay, that's exactly what it is that we want you to do. We're seeing them. Jeff, I'd like for you, as a matter of fact, while we're on this topic, because I see it ramping up, maybe if you would take and show them the Howard Lutnick thing that's going on, because I see that that's going on, and I want people to understand so that they can see clearly that, Jeffrey Epstein had an affinity for Lenin, not for Lutnick.
And others, too. So this is the new narrative. And Shadow of Ezra, we believe, could be Jordan Sather, just to be quite honest. Compare the creepy mask found on Epstein's property to Howard Lutnick. That's Lenin, you doofus. He's got a full beard. Lenin had come on.
This is so stupid, bro.
So Charles de Gaulle is this guy, Vladimir Lenin, because he had an affiliation to communists, guys. So yes. Breaking news. New PSYOP comparing Howard Lutnick to a mask on Epstein's wall. I think it looks like Vladimir Lenin. Do these people ever stop with the BS, guys, and confirm another? This confirms, not conforms. I hate when that happens. Another attack on Trump's cabinet. So what we have here is a collection of masks and entertainers, performers, world leaders. It exactly reflects the kind of people that Jeffrey Epstein likes to collect himself. It also looks like he has world leaders. The one on the right to me looks like Vladimir Lenin. The one on the left, maybe an old Charles de Gaulle, Dr. G, who is an ex-former FBI analyst, before adding, I can't guarantee that. I'm right about who that is. But look it. It's not Lutnick. And saying stuff like that is dividing you. You're going to want to give up because these are fake decodes, these fake Q movement infiltrator decodes, Shady. Now, does Shadow of Ezra have some good posts every now and again? Yes. But they slip in stuff like this. Do you understand how PSYOPs work? Good. Oh, tragic, sad, hero, weird news. Okay? That's how they trigger you, Shady. That's how they program you.
I thought that we read the drops, and the drops explained to us something that's very, very crucial, very, very important to understand. The drops explain to us to get off of the train before it goes through the tunnel. What does that mean? Do you understand what that meant? That basically meant that everybody involved with this whole big bunch of nonsense had an opportunity to either quit what you're doing and step away and start fighting with and for us, or if you go through the tunnel, you're going to hit the wall at the end of the tunnel. Okay? A warning. So people like Howard Lutnick and a number of other people that have had these associations for over the period of time, I don't know if any of them that didn't have an association with Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason that I'm saying this stuff is because Jeffrey Epstein, now that you can sort of see an insight into what he was doing, he was He was conjuring up these instances. He was seeking them. He was seeking out these people. You see their names typed into the email. He's like seeking them. Then Howard actually lived next door to him, bought one of the properties from him. Associations, business associations. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know anything about it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's bad or it's good. What I am going to sit here and say is that Howard Lutnick is doing an amazing job with what he's doing supporting Donald J. Trump, and the way the mountains that they have been able to move in 1 year is absolutely America will never be able to thank them enough. Yeah. So I'm willing to think that the people that are currently helping Donald Trump decided that they didn't any longer want to work with the only game in town. The only game in town was the cabal, the globalists, the game, until Donald Trump and all you guys started to like reset the match. Yeah. And now we're playing a different game.
Yeah. And the bottom line, actions speak louder than words. Lutnick is doing a fantastic job.
That's exactly what I said. And if he wasn't,
I just repeated it. Yep.
Yeah. If he wasn't, I swear I would criticize him. You know, like the only real criticism that I can give this administration is the Ed Martin aspect. And the only reason that I can criticize Ed Martin, not necessarily because I know anything he's doing specifically, what I do see him doing is bringing people down that are not good for the optics of Donald Trump and taking a picture with him, whether it be Ann Vandersteel or Alex Jones or a number of other people that he's brought down to take a picture with. It doesn't look good for the Trump administration, but that's not something that I can say, oh, well, then Trump bad.
Yeah. That's great news. Real quick, going back to Kash Patel and finding who funds Antifa. I think we kind of know a lot. It'll probably come out being that we've talked about that, probably the same funds.
It would be, we started talking about that on 5/31/2020. The specific part about Antifa mapping started a long time ago, but Antifa was mentioned within the first 5 Q drops because Antifa is their internal army. Obama told you that we are going to build an army of soldiers here in America. That is Antifa, and that is all of these, the 764 network, all of this Flynn network, InfoWars, all of that stuff coordinating together. That's the army against you.
And Antifa was anti-fascista in Germany, which was the communist arm. And do we think that the Antifa people are communist here today in our country?
Yes.
Same flag too, guys.
Yes, they are. They're absolutely communist, and they'll tell you that they're communists fighting a fascist, which is the most insane, ridiculous thing. You've got to actually have if you want to be a communist fighting a fascist in the modern day world, and you're not targeting the globalists, you're not legitimate. The globalists are the only fascists. The globalists are the ones that have taken business and government, mixed them together, and decide that decrees over a country.
Yeah,
fascism.
Yeah. Fascism. And who collected communists on their wall? Not Lutniks. Okay. No. Jeffrey Epstein collected communists. There was Stalin, there was Lenin, not Lutnick. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. Like all of these theories, I mean, they're theories, but it's not him. Okay. But people are like wanting to know why Lutnick went there. There are times when people went there for investment opportunities. Okay. I mean, it doesn't mean that they went there. You can infer that they did things and you could take it to the full extreme of doing bad things with underage people, or you can do it as to worship of a certain entity that I don't believe in. Well, you know what I'm saying. Or you can just realize that people were just there because he was a big investment guy, and maybe there was technology that Cantor Fitzgerald wanted there. I was not in I was actually at home. My garage door was getting fixed. So am I weird too because I wasn't in New York City that day? Pretty interesting. But I did know 70 people at Cantor and various other accounts that passed that day. But, I understand that people want to think the worst, but you've got to you don't have the information. It's a theory. Fine, theory. But the long and the short of it is Lutnick is in Trump's cabinet. That is ultimately an attack on Trump, period.
And if I'm not mistaken, and I might be wrong about this, that his wife was there with him. Whenever Epstein was whining and dining them as a family, his wife had went there with them. So, I mean, it's like, okay, maybe that doesn't take, but either way, we can't go forward and focus on things that we can't prove whenever we have so many. If we were sitting in a situation where we had nothing that we could prove and then we needed to find something, maybe we could dig in on it. But the reality is we've got so many things that we can prove. Why would we be hyperbolic about stuff?
Yeah. And we're just like discussing this. Okay. We have friends in here that are thinking that as well. This has nothing to do with anything than just discussing it like big boys. Okay. We're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to attack you. We're trying to discuss this with you like big boys. Right, Shady? I mean, that's really what it is.
Just sharing what we think. I'm sharing with you what I think and what the way that I'm looking at it. And I'm also reverse engineering what it is that they want me to think. Okay. Yeah. There's a certain way that they want you to characterize things in your mind. And whenever you read something new, you'll notice this. If you pay, you have to stand at the gate, at your own gate, whenever you're reading stuff. And you've got to watch it walk in as you're reading it, because you read these things and it makes sense when you read it, but you're not being critical in the moment that you're reading it. Therefore, you're open to what it is that it's saying to get you convinced without being critical of what it was.
And let me tell you, these posts like from Shadow, and people are in their little oh my God, and they're seeing all this crap. You're going to start believing it, and that get out of this. Okay, turn it off, put it down, and go to the mirror and say Howard Lutnick was the mask on Jeffrey Epstein's wall. Look how stupid you look.
Because we can go out and we can find all of the other pieces of art that were probably replicas of that exact pieces of art that are hanging in 10,000 different houses across Europe. I mean, it's not like this is like one piece.
And you know how creepy it is? The bloodlines are communists. Okay?
Yes. And you know how creepy that is? The communists are actually Satanists.
Oh.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what? It's even crazier. The people that call themselves Jesuits are the actual Satanists. It's the most insane thing. You would never imagine this massive cabal that has the largest intelligence agency on earth, by the way. You would think of like a confessional. You think of like a confessional, guys. Intelligence, confessional, intelligence. Am I painting the right picture here?
Yep. And the communists are actually the elite globalists.
Yeah. And they've got all your information because you run into the little booth and you tell the goofy guy.
That's right. I want to make a quick statement as well, because it's funny because Dilly and Miguel Fiorina, real quick, Shady, are bragging about their relationship with Kash Patel. That did happen. They hung out with Kash and Dan Bongino, and I think that's awesome. Okay. But what I want to do too is let you know that the guy that wrote this book, Government Gangsters, is Kash Patel, and he autographed it for me. Okay. And let me just go ahead and read it to you. To Jeffrey, thank you for your support and great show. In the Matrix, MG show, where we go one, we go all. Kash Patel, autographed. Okay, and it is backwards now, Shady. I forgot about we flipped ourselves a little bit.
I got another little piece I could add to your compliment there. You know what else he said? He also said that a lot of the things that Q said he got right.
Yep.
Didn't you hear that? Did you guys hear that? The Kash Patel, the current director of the FBI, said specifically that a lot, not some, a lot of the things that Q posted about, it got right.
Yeah.
So the things that Q, quote, didn't get right were the things that people were misunderstanding and spinning it backwards.
You mean the QAnons that came from the infiltrators?
Yeah, that just happened to sync up with the mainstream media in a anti-thesis paradigm to like box everybody out of a conversation to try to make it seem like they were the smart people in the room.
And check this out.
Okay, let's bring them in right now.
You guys are the best. I love being on your program.
Okay, let's bring them in.
Okay, I love having you on the program. Maybe we got to set that up, Shady.
Yep, maybe we got to.
So what I'm trying to say is people, get their information in different ways. Are these people somewhat correct that are attacking us all the time? Maybe. So are we, but we got our information from big, deep digging, from questions that were asked. Okay. And, we already had a foundation of truth and understanding before Shady and I met. And, we kind of came to the same conclusions on a lot of things in the same way. But while we're waiting for Caroline to come out for the Whitehouse Press Conference, I just, wanted to make that statement, guys. We are not enemies. People that actually follow the 17th letter of the alphabet are Trump fans, okay? And a lot of people with the 17 and the Q in their names on X or wherever are not. Some of them are. I'm not. It's not everybody, but I'm noticing a pattern, Shady, of these infiltrated anons. How many posts were infiltration, not invasion? How many posts were infiltration, Shady?
There was quite a number of them. And also, isn't it cool that we have Twitter now identifying which country these people are from? Because now I can ignore all of the dumb comments that come to my posts from foreign countries.
Yeah,
because I don't care what you think. I know that you're a brainwashed minion of whatever stupid government is. You you guys realize that there's nothing on any TV outside of America that has anything to do with what you would think of as a quote Fox News or Newsmax.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is not out there. Like everything that they consume in the BBC, it's all 100% complete globalist, mind-numbing trash.
Yeah. So let's go look at infiltration, Shady 34.
This show looks good, by the way. I'm just
look at these digs we got.
Get in here, like spread it. Maybe we should like take it in, have a little drink, calm down, like Kamala, take some after party. It's like I have some coffee. I just do coffee. I can't drink at 10:30.
So we got Scottish Anna on a new song coming. It's going to be called Infiltration, Not Invasion. Look, you got infiltration of Muslim Brotherhood. You've got infiltration, Director of National Intelligence. Wow. So we have Muslim Brotherhood in the do we think that's true today? So do we think that this post right here, Director of National Intelligence warning about Muslim Brotherhood infiltration in the United States, did that happen?
Yep.
Is it relevant?
Yep.
Huh.
Muslim Brotherhood's in there a whole lot too.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Consumer Protection Agency, Senator Warren. Did we find out that the CPA was infiltrated and was actually a slush fund? And it's corrupt?
Got rid of it.
So we're good, right?
Yeah, we got rid of it, just like you said we were going to.
Wow. So you see how bad these posts are?
They're terrible. They give you a map as to what the future was going to be.
As always.
Here we go, Caroline.
Hey, Caroline. Nice to see ya.
The remainder of President Trump's
Look at our new studio.
Today at 3 p.m., President Trump will host a Black History Month reception in the East Room of the White House. I know many of you will attend, and we will see you up there. Tomorrow, President Trump will host a Board of Peace meeting at the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace, where he will announce that member states have pledged more than $5 billion towards the Gaza humanitarian and reconstruction efforts, and have also committed thousands of personnel to the International Stabilization Force and local police to maintain security and peace for Gazans. Tomorrow afternoon, the president will travel to the great state of Georgia, where he will visit 2 local businesses and give a speech on his efforts to make life affordable for working people. On Friday, President Trump will host a working breakfast with governors in the East Room here at the White House. And on Saturday night, President Trump and the First Lady will host the annual Governor's Dinner. Next, I'd like to provide an update on the economy. We're seeing promising signs every day that 2026 is going to be a record successful year for the American people, just as President Trump promised them. The January jobs report shattered expectations, highlighting how the president's pro-growth economic agenda is fueling American prosperity. The economy added...
Now, could you imagine if we had mainstream media talking the facts just like this Caroline Leavitt, this amazing White House, the best. This is the best spokesman, right? Spokesperson for the White House, press secretary. I mean, could you imagine if our news actually talked like this, guys?
No, I couldn't imagine that. Would that be crazy? Really?
172,000 new private sector jobs to kick off the year. That's more than 2.5 times economists' predictions. The labor force participation rate went up while the unemployment rate fell. The prime age labor force participation rate is now at its highest since 2001. Most importantly, 100% of all job creation under President Trump continues to be in the private sector.
That's
unbelievable. Truly remarkable. That's 615,000 private sector jobs that have been added in President Trump's second term thus far. These are real working people. These are real American families who will be living out their American dream. Meanwhile, federal government employment has shrunk to its lowest level since 1966, saving taxpayers $29 billion annually. And all of the net job growth under President Trump has gone to native-born Americans, ending the disgraceful pattern under Joe Biden of job gains going to non-citizens and illegal aliens. Additionally, on inflation, the new CPI report is even more proof of the progress made by President Trump. Despite all of the doom casting from the so-called experts, the president has managed to utilize powerful tariffs to secure trillions of dollars in investments into our country and rebalance our trade deals while simultaneously cooling inflation. Year-over-year inflation fell to 2.4% in January, beating expectations again and marking the lowest level since May. Core inflation, the best measure of inflation, dropped to its lowest level in nearly 5 years. Meanwhile, real average hourly earnings for all private sector workers rose in the month of January, which means more money is going back directly into people's pockets. After only 1 year of President Trump back in office, real earnings for all private sector workers have outpaced inflation by nearly $1,400, earning back roughly half of the $2,900 they lost under Joe Biden when 40-year high inflation was stealing Americans' purchasing power. President Trump's policies are and will continue to allow Americans' incomes to go further for bills, retirement, and achieving the American dream. A key part of the American dream is buying a home, and that is finally becoming more affordable under this president. This past week, it was announced the annual mortgage cost for a new home has fallen by $4,000 so far under President Trump, after rising by roughly $15,000 under Joe Biden. As a result, mortgage affordability has reached a 4-year best following recent bold action by the president to make home ownership more attainable for American families, not large Wall Street corporate institutional investors. At the same time, national median rents have fallen to a 4-year low and have declined for 6 consecutive months. The annual rental cost for a new rental unit has fallen nearly $100 so far under President Trump, after rising more than $3,000 under Joe Biden. And many are crediting that to the president's deportation efforts to remove illegal aliens from our communities and therefore from housing that should be used for American citizens. At the grocery store, the price of eggs, dairy, cheese, fresh fruit, apples, oranges, potatoes, tomatoes, and butter have fallen since President Trump took office, and he is continuing to fight for even lower prices at the grocery store for the American consumer. At the gas pump, fuel prices are down by almost 10% over the past year. The average national price for a gallon of regular gas is now less than $3 and is approaching $2.70 in some states, and much lower than that in many states across the country as well. We've seen in several states gas is under $2 a gallon. And at the pharmacy, prescription drug prices are down over the past year, with even more price relief ahead for American patients, thanks to President Trump's most favored nation drug pricing deals and the great healthcare plan, which he is calling on Congress to pass as soon as possible. What President Trump wants Americans to understand is that this is only the start and the best is yet to come. The historic success that we have seen since he took office is just the beginning of enormous growth and opportunity that we are about to witness, and I know the president looks forward to hitting the road and being with the great people of Georgia tomorrow to talk about just this. So with that, today, I know there's a lot of news. I will open it up to take your questions, and we're going to start, as always, with our new media seat, the great Michael Graham from Inside Sources. Thank you for being here, Michael.
Thank you for having us, and thanks from our 200 newspaper partners around the country. So you mentioned gas. We didn't mention natural gas. And back where you live, your friends and family are paying among the highest prices for natural gas to heat their home and for electricity generation, the #1 source of power across New England. The cheap gas is in Pennsylvania. The 2 highest places to buy gas in the country, New York City and Boston. The problem is the blue states will not allow the gas to travel to produce electricity or to reach customers. When President Trump first came back in office, there was some talk, him and Governor Hochul in New York possibly reaching a deal. When will consumers in the Northeast feel relief from President Trump's energy policies, and what can he do about state objections to expansion of infrastructure? Then I have a quick follow-up.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the president has promised all Americans across the country, and in particular in the Northeast, where we do face much higher costs of electricity and of energy, unfortunately, because of the Democrat policies in the area. From the federal government's perspective, the president and the National Energy Dominance Council, Secretaries Wright and Burgum, are doing all we can when it comes to federal permitting. The drill, baby, drill agenda is obviously underway. The president has made a huge push for more fossil fuels, in this country. You look at what he did last week with respect to coal. Coal truly keeps the lights on in this country. We learned that in the recent winter storms. However, there's only so much that can be done at the federal level. That's why the president has called on blue state governors to participate in this energy dominance agenda, including governors in New England and the Northeast, by contacting Governor Hochul directly to get this Constitution pipeline underway. This is not only going to bring down the cost of energy in the Northeast, it's also going to support job growth and energy affordability and more opportunity for workers in the Northeast. And I just have a quick statistic here on energy that I found fascinating, and it's obviously true because I'm saying it up here. Red states with Republican legislatures currently enjoy lower average retail electricity prices than blue states with Democrat legislatures. And that's exactly why the president is calling on all blue state governors across New England and the Northeast to get on board. Let's bring prices down for all Americans, whether they live in a red or a blue state.
Going down the street from your alma mater, San Antonio College, talking about building an ICE facility that's causing a lot of political agita in New Hampshire, and for the Republican governor, Kelly Ayotte. Seems to be some miscommunications argued on both sides. Even Republican supporters of Trump who live in the town say, we're not sure we want this. What's your message to the folks in New Hampshire about this proposed ICE facility?
The message is that illegal immigration, while the border is secure, is still a problem across our entire homeland. And the previous administration allowed nearly 20 million illegal aliens from countries all over the world into our country. And the president and Secretary Newsom have done a phenomenal job at deporting. Nearly 3 million illegals have left the country either through deportation or self-deportation over the past year. But obviously, there are a lot more illegal alien criminals left in our homeland. That includes in New England. There are many within our communities in New Hampshire, in Maine, and definitely in Massachusetts and in the Boston suburbs that need to be arrested, detained, and deported back to their home countries. And so the president and Secretary Newsom, and I know ICE, are engaged with local governors across the whole country, including in New Hampshire, to open more detention facilities. This is an unfortunate consequence of the previous administration's border invasion that the president has thankfully put a stop to. But of course, we still need to grapple with the illegal alien criminals who are here, and that requires more detention space. Thank you, Michael. Garrett.
On Iran, I'm not asking you for like military secrets here, but can you share?
Know I would be so unwise.
Unless you want to give them. Can you share a little bit about the president's thinking on whether or not to strike Iran, who he's talking to, what information he's consuming, and why a strike might be necessary on a nuclear program he says was obliterated by the last U.S. strike?
Well, there's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran. The president had a very successful operation as commander-in-chief with Operation Midnight Hammer, as you know, as you just said, totally obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world, diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration. He's talking to many people. Of course, his national security team, first and foremost, and you know who the members of that team are. And this is something, obviously, the president takes seriously. He's always thinking about what's in the best interest of the United States of America, of our military, of the American people. And that's how he makes decisions with respect to military action of any kind.
And on the flip side of that, he's got the State of the Union speech next week. If he is going to take military action, does the administration believe it's important to sort of convince the American people, sell the American people? Will we hear something about that in the State of the Union to make the case for why something like that might be necessary to risk American lives?
Look, again, I'm not going to engage in a hypothetical. Good try, Garrett, but you can't catch me there. I will say, with respect to the State of the Union, you'll be hearing more about what is to come from the president's speech very soon at the appropriate time. It is going to be a very good and powerful speech, so everyone should tune in. Ed.
Carolyn, thank you. I got two questions for
Sure.
you. About Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the administration's decided to appeal a judge's ruling that in essence was trying to put the slavery displays back, arguing that the federal government believed it had the power to dissemble and disassemble historical truths when it has some domain over historical facts. The judge said it does not. The administration said that you were planning to put up updated interpretive materials and provide a fuller account of the history of slavery at Independence Hall. What more was the administration, or is the administration, planning to add?
I'm not familiar with this specific instance, Ed, to be honest with you, but I will check in with the appropriate people who are overseeing this, and we'll get you a more firm answer.
One other question. Then yesterday in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start.
What the hell is he
going
talking
through the
about?
Internet of radical Democrats throughout the years.
Oh my God.
Who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television
so
across the country
disingenuous.
who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes. And the president very much looks forward to having a event later this afternoon at 3 p.m. to celebrate Black History Month and to talk about how his policies are advancing opportunity and prosperity for all Americans through record tax cuts, through the Trump accounts that all Americans can access regardless of race. These are a great thing for the next generation of Americans. The president has also awarded hundreds of millions of dollars in additional funding to strengthen educational outcomes at historically Black colleges and universities across the country. Again, the president is protecting the hard-earned benefits of the 2.4 million Black veterans who honorably served in our nation's armed forces by reducing the backlog of veterans waiting for their VA benefits and for their home loans through the Department of Veterans Affairs. So there is a lot this president has done for all Americans regardless of race, and he has absolutely been falsely called and smeared as a racist, and I'm happy to provide you those receipts, and we gladly will right after this briefing.
I can't wait for that, because you just do a quick, Google search. You got the Black GOP senator calls Trump video most racist thing. Obama even responds to Trump's racist post. Trump faces backlash over race. Critics call out racism comments alleged. I mean, all they do is say racist.
Play any congressional hearing.
Yeah.
Every hearing.
Yeah.
They scream racist.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But, they love to gaslight you.
Yeah.
The specific people really like to gaslight you. I won't point out exactly what they are.
And let's not forget xenophobic. That's basically racist as well.
That is racist.
Let's not forget Nazis. It's all just
Muslim ban.
And you heard all the things President Trump did for the Black community, Shady Groove. Wow.
Yeah, and I've seen it. I've watched all the things that he's done for the Black community. Let me tell you something. He hasn't done near for the Black community what's getting ready to happen. Wait until the Black community starts to get their tax refunds this year. Wait till the Black community starts to see how much taxes they owe next year. Wait till the Black community starts to see that, oh, wow, somebody in the administration is actually listening to them. And we're starting to make investments into real communities around the country to build up and to add infrastructure to make life for everyone better.
That's right.
We're making life for everyone better. We're not making life better for white people.
And there's a Q post that says, patriots have no skin color. Okay.
That is true.
We're all Americans, guys, and we're all God's children. One nation under God, and it's just absolute. All right.
I just love the gaslighting. That right there is a perfect example of the same type of gaslighting that they're doing to us. Oh, it's just an observation, Jeff.
Wait till they find out what Hillary and the Dems did in Haiti.
Yeah.
That's another post, isn't it?
There's another post.
Here we go.
Jennifer, go ahead.
You mentioned the $5 billion in pledges for the Board of Peace. Will we be able to get a breakdown of which countries are providing each of those pledges?
Yes.
And which countries are providing troops?
Sure. We're happy to provide that breakdown, and I'm also happy to provide the list of countries that will be attending tomorrow. I know it's more than 20 countries. I know there's a lot of interest in that. I'll spare myself reading you the list of 20 countries from the podium, but we will provide it, and the president will be opening the meeting tomorrow with remarks, and we'll sort of formally normally be chairing the meeting at the beginning before he departs for Georgia tomorrow.
And then on the sewage spill, the sewage pipe that broke on the Potomac, can you give us an update on the federal government's response? And officials have told CBS that some of that aging infrastructure is a concern, that this particular pipe wasn't even of the most urgent concern. Do you know if the government is looking into which other pipes could be at risk of collapsing?
Well, the next step in this process is for any of the three local jurisdictions involved, whether that's the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Maryland and Governor Moore, or the District of Columbia, to step forward and to ask the federal government for help. And to ask for the Stafford Act to be implemented here so that the federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected by Governor Moore in Maryland for far too long. In fact, it's no secret that Maryland's water and infrastructure have been in dire need of repair. Their infrastructure has received a nearly failing grade in the 2025 report card from the American Society of Civil Engineers. This is the same grade they've received 5 years earlier. There has been no improvement under the leadership of Governor Moore. He's clearly shown he's incapable of fixing this problem, which is why President Trump and the federal government are standing by to step in. And for all of the environmentalists in the room and across the District of Columbia, let's all hope and pray that this governor does the right thing and ask President Trump to get involved, because it will be an ecological and environmental disaster if the federal government does not step in to help. But of course, we need the state and local jurisdictions to make that formal request. That's part of the legal process to move forward. Peter.
So you said that any of the three Democrats just need to ask. A few minutes ago, Maryland's Governor Wes Moore asked. He said, if the president wants me to ask nicely, our response is this: please, Mr. President, do your job.
To which I say, I'll ask the president and we will provide you with the next steps. But in all seriousness, the federal government has been preparing plans. The White House has been in contact with FEMA, with the Army Corps of Engineers, with the Environmental Protection Agency. Again, we've been standing by. This is a problem we want to fix, not just for the federal government, but for everyone who lives in the District of Columbia, including all of you. So you're welcome.
To your point about that, there are a lot of events coming up for America 250. The president wants people from all over to come to the nation's capital. Is he worried that by the summer, the Potomac River will still smell like poop?
He is worried about that, which is why the federal government wants to fix it, and we hope that the local authorities will cooperate with us in doing so. Steve.
So what will the $5 billion be used for in Board of Peace, and will that be sort of a down payment for much more money?
You'll be hearing more about that tomorrow at the meeting. If you recall, at the first meeting when we were in Davos, Jared Kushner did provide a very detailed PowerPoint presentation for the vision of Gaza, the reconstruction and the humanitarian efforts, of course, providing local security on the ground. That will be part of the discussion tomorrow, is how can we maintain security? First, you must achieve security to get to prosperity, which is sort of the second part of this plan. So you'll be hearing more about that tomorrow, but I would just point out, $5 billion worth of investment. We're talking about reconstructing Gaza. I remember when those words came from the president's lips in the East Room many months ago, and all of you in the press were bewildered at how the president could have such an ambitious goal of rebuilding Gaza, which is obviously a place that has been just turmoiled by violence and chaos for many, many years. But we are well underway in doing that, and it's a historic accomplishment for this president.
Secondly, is the president seeing enough progress in the Iran talks to let negotiations go a little further? I mean, where do things stand after yesterday's talks?
I think you heard from the administration and the State Department yesterday that there was a little bit of progress made, but we're still very far apart on some issues. I believe the Iranians are expected to come back to us with some more detail in the next couple of weeks, and so the president will continue to watch how this plays out. Sure.
Follow up on that. Thank you, Caroline. On these Iran talks, I mean, how much time is the president willing to give it before he is seriously maybe considering military action? Is he willing to give it that full 2 weeks? And has he given the Iranian officials a deadline on when he wants to see a deal?
It's a fair question, Rachel, but I'm not going to set deadlines on behalf of the president of the United States.
And then just one more on the shutdown. We're now in this partial shutdown over DHS funding. Has the president personally spoken to the Democratic leaders in Congress? Can we expect to see them at the White House to try to make a deal on this?
Not to my knowledge. He hasn't had any direct conversation or correspondence with Democrat lawmakers recently. It doesn't mean he's not willing to. I'm just not aware of any conversations that have taken place. I do know the White House and the president's representatives have been in direct conversations with both Democrats and Republicans, but of course, Democrats are the reason that the Department of Homeland Security is currently shut down. They have chosen to act against the American people for political reasons, and now we have FEMA workers, the men and women of the United States Coast Guard, men and women of TSA who keep our airports moving, who will be working without paychecks for no good reason other than the Democrats wanting to pick a fight with Donald Trump. And the president thinks that is irresponsible and despicable. He wants the government to be open. We've been engaged in good faith negotiations with the Democrats. Last night they sent over a counter proposal that frankly was very unserious, and we hope they get serious very soon because Americans are going to be impacted by this. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump has talked about a forthcoming executive order on voter ID. Is there more details you can provide for that? And can you talk about any steps that you're taking to overcome court challenges that you've kind of faced in this area before on voting?
Well, as the president said in that Truth Social post, he's discussing and exploring legal options for a potential executive order with respect to voter ID, but this is something he's made very clear he wants Congress to get done. The Save America Act is a common sense piece of legislation that has now passed the House of Representatives to ensure that voter ID is a requirement in the United States of America. This is a common sense policy that nearly 90% of the country agrees with. You need an ID to go and purchase alcohol. You need an ID to go to the library and check out a book. And so the president thinks you should have an ID to vote in our nation's elections. And I know the vast majority of Americans agree with him on that. And he wants Congress to move quickly to get it done. Sure.
On Cuba, it's increasingly being described as a humanitarian crisis. What is a successful outcome for the U.S. that the U.S. wants to see in Cuba? Is there anything less than regime change that would be considered success?
I think, as Secretary Rubio has articulated and the president himself, we obviously want to see flourishing and prosperous democracies all over the world, especially in our own hemisphere. I'm not dictating any actions the United States may take to get there, but of course that's in the United States' best interest to have Cuba be a truly free and prosperous democracy. Unfortunately, right now, that is not the case. They are a regime that is falling. Their country is collapsing, and that's why we believe it's in their best interest to make very dramatic changes very soon, and we'll see what they decide to do. Sure.
Thank you so much. Following up on Gaza, this $5 billion, who exactly will be in charge of managing this money? Would that be the president himself making the final decisions on how these funds are spent?
It will be the Board of Peace, which the president is, of course, the chairman of, but all of the member parties, I believe, will have votes on the funding. And then, of course, there is that technocratic layer underneath the official Board of Peace with the member countries that will be making decisions as well. So if you just go back and look at the first event that we had where we sort of unveiled the structure of the Board of Peace, that structure remains in place, and they'll be overseeing the funds that will be announced tomorrow for their reconstruction and humanitarian efforts. Sure.
Another question on that Board of Peace announcement. You mentioned there will be the announcement of who comprises that International Stability Force. How soon will that force be deployed? And have all of the regional partners, all of the regional countries signed off on the makeup of that force?
I don't have a timeline for you today, but again, I'm sure you'll hear more about this tomorrow. So you'll join us at the event. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. Two questions. Sure. First, the president has talked a lot about housing affordability, and several countries that are facing housing shortages, including Canada, for example, have imposed a ban on non-citizens, like foreigners, from buying their houses. Do you know if that's a strategy that the president would be willing to deploy?
Well, first of all, the president is obviously committed to deporting illegal aliens from our country and those who are not lawfully present in the United States, which he has done at a record pace.
And what I voted for.
Falling of rents, as I pointed out in my opening remarks. Secondly, the president has recently announced that he is fighting for a ban on institutional investors and Wall Street billionaire corporations from buying up single-family homes that should be lived in his opinion, by American families. We know this is going to have a remarkable impact on the housing market and on prices and supply and demand for the American consumer and the American family. And then thirdly, the president is also expediting permitting as fast as we possibly can to build more homes, to increase supply, to obviously bring down the cost of home ownership and purchasing homes for the American people. And then also, as I mentioned as well, we do see mortgage rates falling. So all of this is combining to make housing more affordable in this country. There's still a lot more.
And those mortgage rates are falling because Trump asked Fannie and Freddie to sell a bunch of what was it, Shady Groove?
To buy a bunch of bonds.
To buy a bunch of bonds. So without the Federal Reserve, he lowered the interest rate by 0.5 point, guys. That's crazy.
That's exactly right. And it's actually tracking to go down further. And if we were to get our guy into the Fed, you could possibly be looking at around the time of the midterm elections, somewhere around 5, maybe even as low as 5, definitely probably 5.5% as being the norm across the country. That is crazy, man. Considering what, a lot of people don't realize, Jeff, that people talk about the 1980s and coming out of the 70s and what was really, why did Reagan win in a landslide? Inflation in America was like 10 or 12%. They were charging you 25% to borrow a nickel. Even the layaway at your store was charging you a tax to lay stuff away. That's how bad the economy was. And so, what we're looking at right now, people vote with their pocketbook, Jeff. They vote with their pocketbook. And if their pocketbook is bigger than it was under the last candidate, they usually do support him. The reason that this whole midterms thing is a debacle is because that every clown president that gets in there does the bidding of the clowns. And then the people are very frustrated because they thought this guy was going to do something. They didn't do anything. What if we have a guy in there that did something and actually built a coalition and brought new people to the conversation because they saw that his policies were really working?
Clowns everywhere. There's clowns effing up my country. What?
All around, clown.
All around. Do this, don't do that. Don't be a clown.
Please stop being a clown.
All right, here we go.
Still digging his way out of the mess that was created by Joe Biden's administration and jacking up mortgage rates and jacking up housing costs. But we do see very positive trends in this direction. And the president wants the United States to be a nation of owners, not renters. He wants families to live in homes, not institutions and big corporations. Michael.
Caroline, secondly on Ukraine, yesterday Zelensky said in an interview that he says that it's not fair that the president is saying that Ukraine has to make concessions. He's saying this publicly.
It's not fair.
Has the president seen these comments? And when the president says that Ukraine has to make concessions, is he referring to giving up Donbass?
I think the president would respond to that by saying he does not think it's fair that thousands of Ukrainians are losing their lives, and Russians too, in this deadly war. And that's why the president and his team have committed a tremendous amount of time and energy in bringing this war that is very far away from the United States of America, but nevertheless, this is a president of peace. And so he's committed a tremendous amount of time and energy to bringing this war to an end. Just yesterday, there was another round of trilateral talks between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. There was meaningful progress made in both parties. Both sides agreed to update their respective leaders and to continue to work towards a peace deal together. So there will be another round of talks in the future. But I think the president views this entire situation as very unfair, not just for Russians and Ukrainians who have lost their lives, but also for the American people and the American taxpayer who were footing the bill for this war effort before President Trump put a stop to it. And I would just remind everyone around the world that the United States is still selling weapons to NATO that are then being sent to Ukraine in their defense of their freedom in their borders. Michael.
But we're selling them, not being built, Shady Groove.
Don't make that distinction, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be applying your that would be applying your brains.
That's right. And they're holding on for as long as possible, guys, because they think that it's making Trump look bad. No. Trump is smelling like a rose in this whole thing, even though all the Zelensky stuff and whatever. Look, we're selling the weapons, guys, not giving them away. You're making money, not losing money. Wow. It's almost like the United States of America is now a business.
Well, that's actually a good point to make, because as much as we don't want to sit here and talk about the proceeds that come from war, That is what war is. They told you a long time ago, war is a racket. And that's exactly what it is. And your best bet is to be somehow making some financial gain off of it. Do you remember during the Biden administration, it was like every 2 months we heard, oh, Joe Biden sending another 30 billion to Ukraine. Oh, Joe Biden sending another 100 billion. Oh, another billion to you. Have you heard that in the last year? You know why? Because we've been selling things to NATO, and NATO is implementing and using those munitions however the hell it is that they feel like that they're supposed to use them. That's the way this is supposed to work if you're going to abide by the UN Charter and the treaties that have been signed around the world.
So let me get this straight.
Oh,
Trump was not the president during the Biden years, and Trump was not giving away billions of dollars to Ukraine, or was he shady? I am so confused.
He wasn't. I'm telling you, he wasn't.
What's going on?
I'm telling you, the people that have eaten the devolution sauce will never recover.
My God. All right, back to Caroline.
Good one.
Caroline, Russia is reportedly joining Iran for joint naval exercises in the Gulf of Oman this week. Has the president issued any kind of warning to Russia or even China not to involve itself if the U.S. decides to strike Iran?
Not to my knowledge, no, or not that I would dictate from this podium. I wouldn't reveal the president's private conversations with world leaders. With respect to that, again, when it comes to Iran, the president has a decision to make, and he will do that, and I'm not going to broadcast what that decision may be ahead of him.
President Barack Obama, Caroline, was recently asked if aliens are real. He says they're real, but he hasn't seen them. The president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, told Miranda Devine of the New York Post that the president has a prepared speech on this issue that he prepares to deliver at the right time. Is that true? And does the Trump administration believe aliens are real?
Well, a speech on aliens would be news to me. That sounds very exciting, though. I'll have to check in with our speech writing team. And that would be of great interest to me personally, and I'm sure all of you in this room, and apparently former President Obama, too. So we'll keep you posted on that. Tyler.
He's such a boss.
An unprecedented amount of cooperation with counties in Minneapolis after the negotiations with Tom Homan. Are those written or verbal deals with the sheriff? How many have agreed to cooperate on immigration enforcement who previously refused to do so?
Yeah, the last time I spoke with Mr. Homan, which was just a few days ago, he assured us that nearly every single county in the state of Minnesota has agreed to notify ICE when they are releasing criminal illegal aliens from their jails. This is an unprecedented level of cooperation that we have not seen. It has led to not only cooperation to detain illegal aliens in Minnesota, which just this past week I have looked at the list. They've detained some very heinous people who none of you would want living in your communities, but has also led to a much more calm situation on the ground. We've also seen, and you've seen this with your own eyes play out, the local police and the state police have now cooperated in the arrests of left-wing agitators and criminals who are unlawfully obstructing immigration enforcement in their efforts. So this is a huge win. And again, the president sent Mr. Homan to Minnesota to do a job, and he has done it well. And I think the situation on the ground proves that.
Are those like written agreements that they've been signed by various officials in the state?
These are agreements that have been made by state and local officials in the federal government, and we are seeing that cooperation play out every single day. These counties are notifying ICE when they are releasing criminal illegals from their jail, and we do know that they are arresting left-wing agitators who are unlawfully impeding law enforcement. There's video to show that. Show it yourself. You can view it with your own eyes. John.
Thank you, Caroline. You mentioned two things: DHS closed and the SAVE Act IDs. Both of these could get solved in 15 minutes if Senate leader John Thune simply got rid of this phony 60-vote cloture rule and got 51 votes, and that would be the end of it, because everyone in this room knows if the Democrats take over, they'll get rid of that rule in 90 minutes. They already tried it one time, and the two Democratic senators that stopped it are no longer there, Manchin and Sinema. President Trump is backing a lot of these senators for re-election, and yet they will not get rid of the 60-vote cloture rule, which is holding everything up. What is the president's position on John Thune in the Senate finally getting rid of this so this legislation can get moved?
Well, the president has a good relationship with Senate Majority Leader John Thune. They keep in very close contact, and they work together all of the time. I hear your passion in your voice, and I know it's shared by many Americans across the country, including the president himself. He wants to see the SAVE Act voted, and he's expressed that both publicly to all of you, the American people, but also privately in his conversations with Senate Majority Leader Thune and many other members of Congress as well. Yes, Rob, go ahead. Good to see you.
So J.B. Pritzker just recently signed the bill. The law went into effect in January, and it's supposedly going to allocate about $2.5 billion to illegals to go to college and financial aid in the state of Illinois. What is the White House's reaction to this? Illinois is already, by 2027, they're supposed to have a $3 billion deficit. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. I would say the president certainly thinks that Governor Pritzker is not doing a very good job of managing his state, as evidenced by not only the waste, fraud, and abuse, but also the crime in the city of Chicago that unfortunately Governor Pritzker has refused to pick up the phone and call the White House and ask for help on, which is something his residents want him to do, but he refuses to do for political reasons. As for the specific money, we'll take a look and get you an answer. You're welcome. John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. Two questions. One is about the president's trip to Georgia tomorrow. If you can provide some additional information about that, why Northwest Georgia was chosen for this particular trip, for instance.
Sure. Well, Georgia is obviously a very important state to the president and to the Republican Party, and the president loves the people of Georgia. He'll be touring, like I said, a steel facility, and then he'll also be stopping by another local business, and he will be giving remarks on affordability, on the economy, on all of the great economic news that I just shared with you earlier. He'll be meeting and greeting with everyday Americans, and that's what the president loves to do, to get out across the country, and he's spoken about his intention to go across the country a lot more, and obviously tomorrow's trip is evidence of that.
Secondly, last week, as you know, big event that took place in the Roosevelt Room, the president announcing that the EPA has repealed these federal limits on emissions for cars, trucks, and power plants. And in the president's presentation, he mentioned that American families will save $2,500 for a new car or truck. Where is the promise coming from automakers that they're going to pass along their savings to those families all across the country?
It's a great question, John. That was an economic analysis that was provided to the president, and I'd be happy to provide that to you so you can take a look yourself. But I'm glad you brought up the president's announcement last week, because this is one of the largest deregulatory actions ever taken in the United States of America. And overall, it's going to save our country $1.3 trillion in regulatory burdens that have really done nothing for our country, nothing for our environment, nothing for our economy. In fact, this announcement received widespread and bipartisan praise. I think I recall seeing the editorial board of the Washington Post, of all places, even commending the president and Administrator Zeldin for this historic action last week. So there's no doubt it is going to save the American consumer money, and I'd be happy to provide that specific economic analysis to you. Sure, in the middle, go ahead. Yes.
Thank you. Governor Moore in Maryland signed a bill that is ending the law enforcement cooperation with ICE. And by doing that, a lot of local sheriffs are not happy. And in fact, they met today in Annapolis to come up with legal action. What is the message of the White House to those sheriffs and to the residents of Maryland?
Well, first of all, it's...
I'm sorry, we interrupt this briefing to have that guy report to an ICE facility immediately. Thank you, Caroline. Carry on.
Other despicable action by Governor Wes Moore. Why would you prevent your state and local law enforcement from cooperating with federal law enforcement? If you just ask them, to your point, if you ask a sheriff across the country if they want to have that level of cooperation and coordination with the federal government, of course they do. It makes their jobs easier. It keeps them out of hostile and dangerous environments. It allows them to detain illegal alien criminals who have committed heinous crimes in our country with the most safe circumstances possible. So the president, of course, continues to always stand on the side of law enforcement, and this is another just horrible and frankly political action taken by Governor Wes Moore, and unfortunately the people of his state are going to reap the consequences of it. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline.
President Trump just said on Truth Social that it would be a big mistake for the UK to hand over control of Chagos Islands to Mauritius. But the State Department earlier this week has said that the U.S. does support that handover. So does this post now suggest that the U.S. does not, or that President Trump has changed his mind on this?
The post should be taken as the policy of the Trump administration. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's directly from President Trump. That's the beauty of this president and his transparency and relaying this administration's policies to all of you and to the rest of the world. Carrie, go ahead.
There's been a series of walkouts from public school students that have been sort of provoked by a number of public school administrators. What are your thoughts on this? What's the administration's thoughts on this? Will they be taking any actions on these walkouts against ICE?
Look, I think obviously the president and the administration support the First Amendment rights of all American citizens, and if they're peacefully protesting, then that's their constitutional obligation and right and responsibility to do so. Of course, the administration also wants to see American school children in school learning and educating, and I think it does speak to the left-wing bias that is unfortunately very present in our nation's public school system, and it's something that Secretary McMahon has been working very hard to root out of our public school system by ensuring that local governance and local control takes place over our nation's public schools, and that parents and educators closest to students have a greater say over curriculum and academia in our country. Take a couple more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. The Vatican announced earlier today that they would not be joining the Board of Peace initiatives over concerns that it could potentially compete with the United Nations over handling crisis conflicts. What's the White House's response to that?
Yeah, look, we saw that. I think it's deeply unfortunate. I don't think that peace should be partisan or political or controversial. And of course, the administration wants all those who were invited to join the Board of Peace to join. Because again, the Board of Peace is overseeing the reconstruction of a territory that has been plagued with violence, with bloodshed, with poverty for far too long. And this president has a very bold and ambitious plan and vision to rebuild and reconstruct Gaza, which is well underway because of the Board of Peace. This is a legitimate organization where there are tens of member countries from around the world, and we think that's an unfortunate decision. In the back, sure. I'll go to both of you, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead, and then Jake, you can go.
Caroline, can you tell me, is there an update regarding the tariff rebate checks that the White House has promised?
I don't have an update for you on timeline, but I know that it's something that the president and his economic team continue to very seriously discuss.
Thank you, Caroline. I've got two questions.
Thank you, APAL Anna. $94 in US dollar tether on the Rumble wallet. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate
wow.
that.
Thank you, sir. Oh my goodness.
First, does the president see some sort of religious or prophetic component to the unfolding developments in the Middle East?
I haven't spoken to him about that particular perspective, to be honest with you, but of course the president wants peace for all people of all faiths all around the world, and that's part of his push to create peace in the Middle East, which he has done successfully.
And my second question is, as his popularity rises around the world, and especially in regions where he's invested so much effort in promoting peace and ending wars, do you think we might be watching the emergence of a global MAGA movement? Is this something that the president has discussed at all?
Well, I don't know, Jake, but I sure hope so. Take a couple more. Go ahead. Sure.
I wanted to ask you about Iran. As the U.S. military builds up around Iran, is President Trump coordinating war plans with Israel?
Uh-oh. Did we
So
lose
that
him?
if he does decide to strike, that Israel will be a part of those strikes?
Look,
No audio. Yep.
Yeah.
No audio.
I know. I don't know what happened.
Oh, it just went off. Okay.
It's muted on screen. That's why. Come on, guys. Jeez. Here we go.
Just saw them come up and mess with it.
Place out.
Here you go.
The United States government, of course, is always in close communication and correspondence with the state of Israel, and that starts right at the top with the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu themselves. One more. Go ahead.
And let me just tell you this right now. Trump is in charge of Israel right now. We hold the Trump card. We hold the card, Shady.
The Zionists have lost control of Israel. That's what I believe.
Interesting.
Last week we saw the underlying affidavit for the search warrant that was executed in Fulton County, and there was not any mention in that document about foreign election interference in the 2020 election. I'm wondering if DNI Gabbard has uncovered that in Georgia or in Puerto Rico, where we know her team was sent as well.
I don't have any updates for you on that today. I would defer you to the director's office herself.
Boy, that irritates them.
On the president's schedule today, it says he has signing time. What is he signing today? Are we expecting executive orders or actions? That's the first question. And then second, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that a U.S. arms sale package for Taiwan is in limbo. Can you just confirm this reporting / offer any additional comment? And how concerned is the administration that if an arms deal with Taiwan went through, that this could disrupt the China-U.S. trade truce? Sure. Well, I haven't read the full Wall Street Journal report. I will just say with respect to an arms sale to Taiwan, I don't have any announcements or updates on that for you today. And to your first question about what the president will be signing, he will be signing an executive order, which you will all be hearing about later this afternoon, and you will see him in 1 hour at the Black History Month reception. We'll see you there. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. She's amazing. That press secretary just amazes me every time, Shady. Wow.
I hope that she stays through the whole administration. I'd love to see.
Well, she's going to go on maternity leave.
Well, I know, but there's a possibility that doesn't end it. She could come back.
Yep.
I hope.
Yeah, so there we have it. Thank you very much, APAL, for the almost $100. Thank you, guys. I just can't thank you enough for that. We do need your help, guys. You know, we've got a lot going on. There's a lot of new eyes coming to our show, and it's glorious, Shady Groove.
It absolutely is. We're going to be pushing the envelope, as a matter of fact. So hang tight and do not hesitate to help us. If you see an opportunity where somebody might want to share this show or broadcast this show or have us be part of their network family, let us know. We're interested in talking to them because we're tired of people that are trying to control this country with fake information. I don't care if the person is on my side. I'm going to still call out their fake information. I think that's a breath of fresh air. I think America needs that. This idea that we've all retreated to our specific biased political partisan corners is BS. We should all be in the public square, and we should be iron sharpening iron. The only thing that beats a bad idea is a better idea.
Yeah. And there is like so much winning in the air, Shady Groove.
I can feel it.
So much. Wow. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Wednesday. It's Trump Day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Man, it's Wednesday already.
I know, the studio is so nice. I'm gonna go over here and finish painting the wall that's over there.
And Shady, show them that we're not in the same chair. Mine is different than yours. See that? Yours has red. See that?
We're not AI.
We're not AI, and we're not in the same chair.
We absolutely are not in the same chair on camera.
On camera. Wait, what?
The chains are breaking, our truth ignites the skies. Our light will blind them, see the fire in our eyes. We've ripped apart your shadows, your lies dissolve and fade. The people rise in triumph, our hearts will not degrade. No lies can bind us, your wars are running thin. Our radiant love is roaring, let the victory begin. You tried to cage our spirit, but our flame just burns too bright. Our light will blind the warlords with the spark that ends their night. Red wave, white squall, we're soaring, we'll never fall. In God we trust, we've answered freedom's call. Our light will blind them, the shadows turn to dust. The game is over, cause the public knows we trust. Your war machines are crumbling, your schemes are breaking down. Our joyful light unveils the truth in every stolen crown. Declass the truth, let the heavens shout. Our shining love will turn the world about. No more bleeding our dreams, no more stealing our land. With the Bible as our shield and our faith within our hands. No more lies, no more fear, we shattered every chain. The sheep are gone, we're warriors, rewriting every pain. From foes to friends, our light will show what's true. God wins, we win, the world is breaking through. Red wave, white squall, we're soaring, we'll never fall. In God we trust, we've answered freedom's call. Our light will blind them, the shadows turn to dust. The game is over, cause the public knows we trust. Our light will blind the warlords, their wars are dead and gone. America's on fire, and the fight goes on and on. In God we trust, our shining love will stay. The world's united and we've won the final play.
www.mg.show. Boom.